Okie doke. The last of Claudius. Chapter 13. Delectabator. Passive. Laudibus suis. Ablative plurals. Claudius our nominative. So Claudius was delighted with his praises, and he was desirous. Dutius is a comparative of longer, and he was wanting to watch for more time, and he wanted to watch it longer. Inicut illi manum telethebius diorum. So injected his hand, Telebius of the gods is Mercury, and so Mercury put his hand into his, et trahit, and he dragged him, capite ob voluto, with his head wrapped up, covered, naquis, lest anyone, possit was able, agnoscere eum, to recognize him. Per the campum martium, through the campus martius, and inter Tiber and Viam Tectam, and between the Tiber and the Via Tecta, which is a covered road, descendit ad inferos. It descended down to the underworld. Antecessorat yam already. So already having gone before him, compendiara by a shortcut, was Narcissus Libertus in apposition. This is his freedman Narcissus, to patronum excipiendum, the gerund, so that he could receive his patron. And coming to meet him, Nitidus, shining, as erat a balanio, as he was coming from the baths, occurred. He met him and ate, and he said, "Quid de ad homines?" ? So this is like, why the gods amongst the men, or come to the men. Celerius inquit Mercurius. More quicker, said Mercury, and venir nos nontia, and announce nos venir, that we have come, we are coming. Dicto sitius narcissus evolat. So more quicker, Narcissus more quicker than can be said, Dicto said, Narcissus flew away, evolvat. Omnia proclivia sunt, facili descenditor. So all is downhill, proclivia. All things are downhill. It's easy can be descended. Easily it can be descended. Itaque quam vis. And so, although Podagrecus is it, even though he had gout, momento temporis pervenit. In a moment of time, so I imagine it's a short amount of time, he pervented it, he reached to the Genua, to the door of Ditus, where Jacobat, where was lying Cerberus, the nominative. Or as Horace says, Horatius 8, a bellua centiceps. This is a monster with 100 heads. Pusillum perturbator. He was perturbed for a little while. Subalbum canem. So it's under white, or they say off-white. It's probably a bit greyish. It was maybe a greyish dog. Indelicis, in with the ablative. He was accustomed to have, as a pet, Indelicis is dear to him. Ut illum vidit, and as he saw this, canem nigrum villosum. So as he saw the dog, it had black shaggy hair, which is weird because it was an off-white dog, but it had black shaggy hair. Sane, clearly it was not whom, Velis, you would want, tibi in tenebris occurre. This is not who you would want to meet in the shadows. Velis takes the infinitive. And magna voce, and with a loud voice, a great voice, Claudius inquit veniet. Claudius, is said, is coming. Subjunctive. I've just read a footnote that says the off-white dog is supposed to be, could have been Claudius. It was the off-white dog compared to the 100-headed one, which was black and shaggy. Cum plausu, it's a fourth. Procedunt cantentes. This is a present participle, and then there's a bit of Greek. So they proceeded with applause and singing. In the Greek bit says, the lost one has been found. And the Greek continues on about, let us rejoice together. Here was Caecilius, consul designatus, consul elect, Juncus the Praetorius, Sextus Troilus. So we've had a Praetor, Sextus Troilus, M. Helvius, all proper nouns, Trogus, Cotta, Vettius, Valens, Fabius. R stands for Roman. So they were Roman knights who Narcissus had ordered Ducii to be let off. That's probably to be executed. Medius erat, in the middle, in hac cantantium, genitive, turba. So we'll take that as a nominative. So in the middle of this crowd of singers was the pantomime Monesta, quam. So Monesta's taking it up as his quam, whom Claudius, causa decorus, cause post-positive after a genitive, for the sake of decor, for the sake of honour, he had made him minor, he'd made him less, he'd actually chopped his head off. Ad Messalina, to Messalina, and we've got a hyphen, by a quick rumour, cito rumore, per crepuit, there crept this rumour about that Claudius was coming in convolant. This goes with the ad Messillo, this little clause in the middle. So they flew to Messillo, Messalina, because quickly the rumour had spread that Claudius was coming. So primi, in the first place, omnium of all of them, the freedman Polybius, I think he was a secretary, Myron, Apocrius, Amphios, Infernonactus, whom all Claudius, we'll take Nicubi as lest here, lest he be unprepared, praemiseret. He had sent them out, Claudius had sent all of these out in front of himself, so that he would have people prepared. And we'll make the daily dictionary word Nicubi. Lest anywhere, at any place, lest on any occasion, or that nowhere. Okay, daily dictionary. Okay, deinde, adverb. So then, duo praefecti, the two prefects, Justus Caetonius and Rufus Polio. Nice and simple. Deinde amici, then his friends, Saturnius Lucius and Pedo Pompeius, and Lupus and Keller Asinius, consolares. It's plural, so they were consuls at some point. No vicime, superlative. So that's the most recent, or last of all, the Filia Fatris, the daughter of his brother, Sororis Filia, the daughter of his sister, Generi, that's plural, Socuri plural, and Socratis. So we've got the sons-in-laws and father-in-laws and the mother-in-law, omnes plane consangue. So it's clearly all of his blood relatives, or half of these are by marriage as well. Et agmine facto Claudio. Claudio here would be dative. And facto. So it was actually done in a column that they came out to meet Claudius. So they met him with the dative. So quos, which is them, in the accusative plural, when videsset, when he had seen them, Claudius nominative, so when Claudius had seen quos them, he exclaimed, in Greek here, everywhere are friends. Quomodo, we'll take that as how, huc here, venistus vos. How have you all come here? And then Pedo Pompeius said, Quid dicus, what are you saying, homo crudelissime, the most cruel man? What are you saying, most cruel man? So querus, quomodo. How are you asking why? Quis enem, for who, nos us, for who others sent us here, huck? Has sent us here, other, quam, than you. Omnium amicorum, double genitive, interfector. So you have sent us here, the killer of all friends, killer of all your friends. In jus imus, let's enter into the law courts. I, Tibi, it's the usual construction, they have the two pronouns. I to you, I'll show you the benches, ostendem. I shall show to you the benches in the law courts. And then on to 14. Ducut illum ad tribunal aici. So he led Claudius, to the tribunal. of Achaeus is, so he, lege Cornelia, by the Cornelian law, quae, which de sicaris, concerning assassins, lata est, is brought querebat for an inquisitions under the Cornelian law. Postulat nomen eius recipiat. He demands that his name, recipiat, be taken. Edit subscriptionem, and he produced a subscription, which is basically means it's a list of the people who were killed. Occisus senatores, so he'd killed 35 senators, Roman equites, Roman knights, 221, and the rest in Greek, as much as the sands, basically. Advocatum non invenit. This is Claudius. He could not find an advocate, someone to speak for him or to defend him. So tandem, at last or at length proceeded P. Petronius, a vetus, an old convictor eus of his, an old friend of his. Homo Claudina lingua desertus. So that's a past passive. So he's a man experienced at speaking in the Claudian tongue. And he postulated, he demanded this advocate, same advocate Claudius was asking for, someone to defend him. Non dator, none was given, it was not given to him. Accusat pedo Pompeius, Magnus Clemoribus. So with great acclaim, great applause, great shouting, pedo Pompeius read out the accusations or produced the accusations. Incipit patronus, that'd be the nominative, so his patron, someone who's defending him, he begins to want to respond. We've got double infinitive here, from begins. Achaeus, that's the guy whose law court they're in. A homo justissimus, a most just man. He forbids for there to be a defence. Et illum altera tantum parte audita, and having heard only, tantum's only, the altera part, only that one side which was against him, he condemned him, and 8 said, Greek words. And that is that the justice is done by doing exactly what Claudius used to do. He'd just condemn someone without hearing their defence. Ingens, that's the adjective, silentium factimus. There was a huge silence. Stupebat omnes, everyone was stupefied. Novitate re, by this new matter, atonati, the I means it's plural. So everyone was stupefied, they were astonished at this novelty of this new thing. Negabant, imperfect, they were denying hoc unquam factum, that this had ever been done, factum. Claudio magus iniquum videbator quam novum. To Claudius, videbator, it seemed more wicked or unfair quam than new. That's because he did it all the time. De genare, concerning the type, poene, of punishment, due, it's an adverb in the positive, so it's for a long time disputed. So concerning the type of punishment was for a long time disputed, quid illum patae operat, of what he illum ought to suffer, patae. Erant qui dicerent, there were those who said, Sisyphum, satis duit, for long enough he had been bearing his punishment. Sisyphum had rolled a rock uphill and it kept rolling back down. And Tantalus, by thirst, sitai, periturum, would be perishing by thirst unless illi to him, socratis, some help was brought. Aliquando, so sometime, a genitive of Zionis, it's a perfect, it's a proper noun. Miseri rotem sufflamandum, which is a gerundive, going with the rota. So sometime the wretched wheel of scythe-earning must be blocked up or stopped. Non placuit, it was not pleasing or it was not decided, ulai, that any ex veteribus missionem, there should not be any of the old, any relief be given to these old-time punishments, the like Sisyphon and Tantalus, etc. So lest Claudius ever, this Claudius should even want to hope for something similar, so a similar remission. Placuit novem poenam. So it was decided that the new punishment, debere, ought to be constituted, ought to be established. An excogitandum, another gerund, must be thought up for him, some empty or useless labour, and alicuus cupidatis, and something of a desire, or a speciem, an appearance of desire, but without any effectu. But there's something, a useless labour, something that he would desire, but there would be no effectu to it. Tum Aequius, then Aequius ordered him, Claudius, ludere alia. So we'd be playing dice, pertuso. So the dice box would have a pertusions, it would have holes in it. So when he went to roll the dice, it'd fall at the bottom. So this would be the sino effectu. There'd be no effect to it. Et iam coprit. And so now he began fugientens, it's the present participle. Tesseris is the dice which must be fugit, must be running away. It's also for watchwords and things, but here it means dice. So now, with the dice always running away, he was shaking it, and nothing was ever proficere, nothing was ever completed. I've got a bit more poetry, I'll just flicker through it. So he would rattle the box, and he thought he'd get them. The cubes would vanish through the bottom. He would pick them up again, and the same trick kept happening, and they went flying away. Every time they went through his fingers, and just like with Sisyphus rolling that rock up that hill, all his labour was in vain. Back to prose. Aperuit subito Caligula Caesar. So suddenly Caligula Caesar appeared, and he began to seek for him in servitude as his slave. Producut testes. He produced witnesses who had seen him, Claudius, being beaten by him, Caligula, flagris. So he was flogged, he was hit with rods, and he was vapulated, he was beaten with fists. So it's adjudicated him over to Caligula Caesar, and Caesar, illum, eco donat. So Caesar gifts to Aequius, the guy who was holding court, what's his name? Claudius. So he, Aequius, tradit, hands him over to his freeman Menandra, so that a cognitionibus esset. So he would be used in studies basically, and the lobe has as a law clerk.